The Chicago Bulls are in some hot water, and reports have also revealed that Lauri Markkanen could be rejoining the Chicago Bulls. This is your host, Joey Mercer. This is another episode of Bulls Digest, and before we get into it there today, I just want to say that about 85% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel, so make sure if you aren't already subbed to the channel to make sure to go down below, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and every time we upload, you will be notified so you can stay up to date with the team that we all know and love here, the Chicago Bulls. So without further ado, let's get to the first topic at hand today, and that is Krause disrespected. So we knew that there was a ceremony last night before the Chicago Bulls Golden State Warriors game, and a bunch of people were announced. There were lots of cheers, clapping, and everything. And then Jerry Krause is mentioned, the former GM executive of the Chicago Bulls during the Jordan run, and wasn't the greatest reception when his late widow was actually at the game, because Krause passed away in 2017. This is the article I'll be citing for this from The Guardian, and it started out by saying, Bulls fans boo Jerry Krause at Ring of Honor ceremony, leaving widow in tears. Bulls fans boo late GM behind 90s dynasty that won 6 titles. Krause was one of 13 enshrinees in team's new Ring of Honor, and Golden State coach Steve Kerr blasts shameful spectators. So Steve Kerr was there anyways, and I think this had a lot to do with the timing of this, that they were playing the Golden State Warriors. Steve Kerr was there, and they knew that everybody could attend. However, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman did not attend. Rodman sent in a video, and they tried their best to be there. I know Rodman couldn't make it because of weather, but did send in a video for his condolences and thankful of joining that Ring of Honor. Next thing we saw was Chicago Bulls fans booed former general manager Jerry Krause on Friday night during a halftime ceremony to honor the organization's greats, seemingly moving his widow to tears and drawing criticism from former players. Krause was one of 13 members of the inaugural class for the Bulls Ring of Honor and was recognized as the architect of their 6 championship teams. Having died in 2017, Krause was represented by his widow, Thelma, who was visibly upset by a torrent of booing from some fans in the United Center and remained seated rather than acknowledge the crowd. And fair enough. I mean, why would you go up and try to take into it after you know that Jerry Krause, the man you were with, passed away in 2017? It's hard enough as it is, and this is supposed to be a moment of warming and welcoming, and we'll throw away the bad that Jerry Krause did with the Bulls organization and embrace the fact that he helped construct the team to win 6 titles. Regardless of our opinion, that is just simply not an okay response from the Chicago Bulls crowd at the United Center. The next thing we saw from Legion Hoops tweeting out was absolutely brutal reaction from Chicago fans booing the late Jerry Krause at the Bulls Ring of Honor ceremony. His wife representing him was in tears, just awful, and once again have to agree with it. There's nothing I can disagree with there. I mean, it is a absolutely appalling reaction from the crowd. I understand that a lot of hardcore fans don't have the best memories of Jerry Krause after the 6 titles, but still, I mean, the man has passed away, and it's supposed to be a moment that we forget about the bad and celebrate the good. The next thing that we saw in the article was, it's absolutely shameful, said Warriors coach and former Bulls guard Steve Kerr, who was among the honorees but was in the locker room with his team at the time. Tonight and last night was all about the joy and love that that team shared with the city, and I'm so disappointed in the fans. I want to be specific since there were lots of fans I'm sure did not boo. Those who booed, they should be ashamed. Former Bulls forward Stacey King, now an analyst for NBC Sports Chicago, said when play resumed in the third quarter that he was disappointed in the fans that booed, calling them classless. I'm telling you what, Chicago is a sports town, and what we witnessed today was when Jerry Krause's name was called, and people that booed Jerry Krause and his widow, who was accepting this honor for him. It was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, King said. I hurt for that lady, brought her to tears, and whoever booed her in this arena should be ashamed of themselves. And once again, absolutely can't disagree. Stacey King, the best commentator in the entire league, and that's my honest opinion, not just because he's with the Chicago Bulls, but I do agree with that, and he's pretty vocal when he doesn't agree with things, so it's not a surprise to see him come out and say this. And Steve Kerr has been vocal when he doesn't like things as of late as well, and over the past 2 years as he's been with the Golden State Warriors. But it just really isn't the right reaction in this situation. Once again, Steve Kerr hit the nail on the head. It's supposed to be a good thing. It's supposed to be a time to rejoice, really appreciate what the man did and not think about the bad and boo him. Like, there's no need of that happening in that building on that night. Next thing we saw, and it was Hall of Fame coach Phil Jackson was one of many former Bulls luminaries who were greeted with raucous cheers. But former star players Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman were absent from the festivities. Jordan, Pippen, and Jackson were at odds at times with Krause, one of the themes of the Last Dance documentary about the 1997-98 season, the final one of the Bulls dynasty Krause helped build. He played a major part in the success that the Bulls had, creating one of the greatest teams ever assembled, Bulls forward DeMar DeRozan said of Krause. Family, friends that are still here ought to be appreciated and shouldn't be disrespected. Rodman was scheduled to appear but had his travel plans canceled by inclement weather. Both he and Jordan submitted video messages acknowledging the honor. And, it's nice to see both of them come out. I don't think we heard anything from Pippen, at least it wasn't reported on the time. I did watch the game last night, and I can't remember if Pippen submitted a video. I don't think he did. I think I wasn't fully involved in the game when the Ring of Honor ceremony was going on. I did watch the whole play of the game against the Golden State Warriors, as I always do, and we blew that lead after halftime. But still, this matter is very serious, and hopefully that the Chicago Bulls fans that did boo understand their actions, and something like this doesn't happen in the future. If there's anybody that's on social media that was at the game that booed, if they came out and apologized at the very least, I think that would be the right thing to do. This is not, that woman that was in the building last night is not Jerry Krause. Jerry Krause has passed away, showing that sort of, that sort of emotion towards Jerry Krause's wife when she's mourning over the death of her husband just 7 years ago is not the proper thing to do. But there's nothing we can do about the situation that's happened. I just want to bring it here today to talk about it, as it is a very serious matter. But let's get into the next topic for today. That is Markkanen reunion. So yeah, Lauri Markkanen, it has said that he could be on the trade block. He's certainly not untouchable from the Utah Jazz. It's not the first time that Danny Ainge has made a star player tradable. You see what he did in Boston. He split up that big three when it was time to be split up. But Markkanen's a completely different situation. He's still a very young guy, but we saw Antoine Walker when he was still pretty young on the Boston Celtics being moved by Danny Ainge. So that's very interesting. That was one of the first moves he ever made there. Now, this article that we're citing here today was from CBS Sports and said, NBA trade rumors, Siakam likely on the move, Markkanen not untouchable, but Jazz are setting high asking price. This one's by Jack Maloney, and it was very interesting to see that the Jazz could actually move Markkanen for the right price. I'm not sure how you'd get much better than Markkanen, but the Chicago Bulls should definitely pounce on this offer, as they could use his services once again. I think he would fit absolutely phenomenal on that team right now. If it wasn't next to Vooch, because I'm not sure about Markkanen's defense, if we could include something like that in the deal, or get another defensive guy to play at the 4, Markkanen play at the 3, like he has done in Utah, or even try Markkanen at the 5. You never know. He is a 7-footer. And maybe something like that could definitely be done in today's NBA. The next thing we saw on it was, this has been a strange season for the Jazz, who got off to a brutal start, but look fantastic now that they're fully healthy. They've beaten the 76ers, Bucks, and Nuggets in consecutive games and have won 9 of their last 11 games to surge into the play-in tournament mix. Early on, it certainly appeared as though they'd be sellers at the deadline. While they still might be, their recent form has made that question more difficult than it was a month ago. Veterans such as Kelly Olynyk and Chris Dunn will be the most likely trade candidates, but the more interesting question is whether they'd sell high on Lauri Markkanen. The 7-foot forward earned his first All-Star nod last season, en route to the NBA's Most Improved Player award. So you would have to think that the value on Markkanen would have to be very high. Just winning the Most Improved, and also an all-star last season, and people thought he could have snuck in on an all-NBA team even, although he was on the Utah Jazz, obviously. But, I mean, such a great year from him last year. He's playing very good again this year, and love to have him on the Chicago Bulls. If there's some way that we could wrangle it around to acquire him, that would be something that we should jump on right away. Next thing we saw was, here's what ESPN's Tim McMahon said on that front. I've been told they will listen on anybody on the roster. The way I would describe it with Markkanen is he's not untouchable, but it's going to take one of your untouchables to get him. I think the odds of Markkanen getting moved are extremely slim, just because the asking price would be astronomical. And yeah, it definitely would be very high. Do the Bulls have the pieces to do that? I'm not so sure. Should they go ahead and do that? I think the price might also be very high. But there were some rumblings online talking about Markkanen rejoining the Chicago Bulls. So I wanted to bring this article to you guys so I could talk about it, so we could kind of see where I think the value would be on Markkanen. Right now, I think Markkanen would be worth Zach Lavine. I really do think that's where the value is. I understand that Lavine's market, maybe it's not where some people feel like it is, but that's sort of a caliber player. They'd be looking to get an all-star type of player back, and maybe on a better deal than Zach Lavine in that matter. So the pieces that we would have, it would probably lead towards moving Alex Caruso, which I'm not sure that we'd want to do, but that would be a piece that I think they'd want to center it around with a former all-star or all-star caliber player in return from the Bulls as well, to get Markkanen back as a Chicago Bull. This has been your host, Joey Mercer. Hope you all enjoyed the video there today. Make sure to go down below, like and comment on the video. And yeah, as always, I'll see you all in the next one. Subscribe to the channel and turn on that bell for notifications. And we will see you all in the next episode of Bulls Digest. Signing off.